When there's no work, there's all kinds of people. When there's tons of work out there, then that's when you just take people out anybody you can.
Right, right. But you can't. You just can't take anybody you can. It's better to improve your company. It's better to go down and strengthen the foundation than it is to keep taking on all those jobs and hiring anybody who can walk and breathe at the same time. Okay? We'll talk about that again on Saturday in strategy number 6, but dare to only have a really good team. Remember, you're making yourself the championship leader. So you want good prospects, prospective A players to be following you, and B players. That in sports you don't always have the stars. You can't have a whole team of stars. You just can't, because all of those star players aren't stars if there are several of them. So they're not going to stick around. If somebody needs to be a star, then they're going to go off to another company. So you got a lot of good, solid B players, the workhorses, the people who are always there setting up the A. But they are not those people who can only walk and breathe at the same time, right? So you just don't even hire them. You hire them because they have the potential to be Mr. or Ms. Right. Okay, so I've identified some challenges in finding Mr. or Ms. Right. So jobs for life. People out there still today are looking for those people you can hire today who will be with you 20 years from now. They won't. They weren't born that way. We've been, brought up now to move on and move on and move on and move on. If you find someone and you develop them and you help them become the best they can be, well, they may stay with your company only because your company is becoming the best it can possibly be, but they're likely to move on. So let's say 80-20, 80% likelihood that they're going to move on. They may go, Brian was talking about somebody who was fabulous, training all his people, and he moved on. He moved on to British Columbia, but he could have moved on down the road to your neighbor. But then you know who you're working with in the industry because you've trained him well. And he's not the trunk slammer or whatever. He may move on to become his own, to start his own business, to become his own boss. And he's not the trunk slammer. You've really developed this person into his full potential. So you want to celebrate their success. You want to celebrate their professional development, their personal development. The more you do that, the easier it is to bring in the next right people. And remember, I said earlier, you want to always be hiring, so that when this person moves on, that's okay. You've got somebody right there ready to take over that position. So this is why the always hiring, always bringing more people on. I've heard so many accountants say, when things get slow, lay some of your people off. Whoa, hang on, you've just invested in them. It's like when the market drops a bit, get rid of your investments, cash them in. Well, that's not the right time to cash them in because now the rates are down. You cash them in, you lose money. And I don't believe in investing in all that stuff anyway, but the thing is you're investing in your people. You don't get rid of them to let all your investment go to your neighbor down the road. So what you do is you hunker down and you focus on bringing in more business. When the economy, does this dips and dive thing, like these big waves that we're going over today, ride it. Ride the waves. Bring in more business. We're going to talk more about that on Saturday. But tons of ways, simple ways to bring in more business. And you'll be the only one in your area doing it. That I can guarantee you of, because other people, they listen to their accountant who says shrink, shrink, shrink. And I've sat in on accountants' talks and presentations and heard them say exactly that. First place you can save money, they say, is your team, your people. The economy's, tightening up, so you've got to tighten up. So get rid of some of your people. This is a good time to do that. And I'm just sitting there going, now I understand while these businesses are shrinking and struggling and suffering because they're listening to their accountants, because their accountants are all about the numbers. So if you don't have an accountant who can grow with you, get an accountant who will grow with you and will help you grow. Okay, so that's the jobs for life thing. People will move on. You want to celebrate their growth. It's just like the children in your family. You don't want them, you're developing your children right from the time they're born. You don't want them to stay with you. Now, yes, we do want some employees to stay with us, but we're okay when they move on. But we don't want our children to stay with us. On one hand, we might think we do, and certainly our children do when they're getting older and seeing, you know, how the world works and all that stuff. And both of my children were saying they were going to live with us. We're going to, you know, we'll have living quarters over here for this one, living quarters here for this one, living quarters here for this one. It's like, okay, you keep telling the story like that today, we'll see. And of course they got to be teenagers and said, I can't wait to get out of here. But we don't want them to stay with us because that would be unhealthy.